Hi, this is Aaron for BandLab, and in this video we're going to make a beat in the style of Lil Uzi Vert using BandLab's free online DAW. You can open this project yourself with the link in the video description, and if you find this guide useful, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be the first to know when new videos drop. I'm going to program this beat at double time so I can add 30-second note hat rolls. So I'm going to start by setting the project tempo to 150 BPM. I'm also going to set the key to F minor so that BandLab will automatically transpose any musical loops I add. I'm going to begin by composing a chord progression using the default grand piano sound. This plays an F minor, then a D sharp sus2, a C sharp sus2, then back to the D sharp sus2. The use of suspended chords gives this progression an ambiguous, slightly melancholic feel. I'm not actually going to use this piano sound in the track though. I want something a little trippier sounding, so I create a new track and select the Synth Keys Future Keys patch. I create an arpeggiator style riff that uses the notes from the chord progression. To get a wavier trap feel, I'm going to use the effects page to add some processing. I select the distorted ambience effect chain preset, which makes the sound much richer and more interesting, but the actual distortion is a bit much. I mute the distortion plus plus effect, which gives me a cleaner sound. I also use the tone multi-filter effect to set the high-pass mode with a frequency of 750 Hz to remove the signal's low end and make plenty of room for beats and bass. I turn this track down to negative 4.5 dB. To create a beat, I add a new virtual instrument track and select the drum pad's 808 kit patch. I program a classic hip-hop kick and snare pattern with kicks on the first, second, and fourth beat of the first bar and the second beat of the second bar. I place snares on the third beat of both bars with extra snares an eighth note after the last beat of the first bar and the first beat of the second bar. I program closed hats on eighth notes, leaving the first beat of the first bar silent. I set BandLab's snap to grid mode to 30-second notes and add rolls at the end of the second and fourth bars. I turn down the velocity of the middle note to make the rolls sound more natural. Next, I want to add a big 808 bass line, so I create another virtual instrument track and select the synth bass 808 saturated bass patch. I program a bass line that follows the chord progression, but if you're listening on speakers or headphones with good low-end reproduction, you'll hear that the bass line is interacting in an undesirable manner with the kick. It's giving us an unmusical low-end rumble. I want to prevent this without reducing the punch of the kick and bass line. So it's time for some experimentation. I know that I can use a high-pass filter to remove a track's low end, so I'm going to see if I can get away with using one on the 808 kick. I add a multi-filter effect, set it to high-pass mode, and set the frequency to 100 Hz. This will remove the sub-frequencies of the 808 kick, but leave the other drum sounds relatively unaffected. This really thins out the sound, and it definitely has no weight on its own. Let's see how it sounds with the 808 bass line playing too. That sounds much improved to me. The heavy 808 bass line makes up for the lack of weight in the 808 beat, and the punch of the beat doesn't seem to be too badly affected. Let's take a listen to how the beat and bass sound without the filter and with the filter. I feel like the overall sound with the filter is acceptable, so let's move on. Next, I want some vocal effects, so I open up the Loops menu and click the Loops tab. I want to see all the trap vocals BandLab has to offer, so I set the instrument filter to voice and the genre filter to hip-hop trap. I really want a vocal that just says, "what?" And Nolo Bounce Voice 1 has that very thing. I drag the vocal into the project and use the handle at the bottom right-hand corner of the audio clip to truncate it to just the first part of the vocal. I'd like the sample to be lower pitched. Opening the editor tab, I can see that BandLab has already pitched the vocal down to -2 semitones to fit the key of the project, but I'd like it to be a bit lower, so I turn it down to -4 semitones. I've put the vocal on the second beat of the bar, and now I duplicate it out to play the whole sequence. To duplicate a clip, hold Option on Mac or Alt on Windows and drag the clip over. Now I've created the main elements I want to use, but I need a couple extra elements to facilitate making an arrangement. I'd like a pad to come in at the end of the track, so I'm going to set the piano track I used to compose the chord progression to SynthPad's Borealis pad. I'm going to use a simple doubler preset effect chain to make the sound a little bit more atmospheric. I don't need this part to be super loud, so I turn it down to -9 dB. I'd like to make a more involved version of the keys part too, so I solo it and download the mixdown. This gives me a bounced version of the key part that I can load back into the project. I truncate this to just the first bar, then in the editor panel, I set it to play at half speed and down 12 semitones, or 1 octave. I then repeat this for the whole 8-bar section. I turn this down to -3 dB. For the arrangement, I start with the bounced version of the keys, adding a repeated version of the regular keys part after 4 bars. And then the beat and bass kick in. After 8 bars, the vocals make an appearance. Next, we have a fake breakdown where the beat doesn't play for the first bar. Bounced keys and vocals stop playing during this section too. Then the bounced keys and vocals come back in. For the outro, we have another fake breakdown. The bass and vocals stop playing and the pad comes in instead. Remember, you can fork this project and make your own version of it using the link in the video description. Have fun!